Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream on this where we're at a beautiful Friday. We're happy to have you here. We're kind of excited. It's been a while since we've connected with you guys on YouTube and our other live stream platforms, and so we're happy to be able to connect with you again and to be able to have a conversation around some exciting stuff. So part of the reason we haven't connected up with you, we've been heavily in development, some AI development, which I can't really talk about yet. But we have been just working with some partners and doing some really cool stuff, which hopefully sometime the end of this month or beginning of next month, we'll be able to show you some pretty exciting stuff. But for now, we want to show you today a feature in Act Advantage called interactive quotes. Now, for some of you, you're still running on a desktop version of Act, and most of my clients are still on a desktop version of Act. You can stay there. Now, the reason we haven't shown this has been out for a while now. The reason we haven't shown this because people like myself who use interactive quotes have a little bit of an issue in that launching it and activating it from the desktop version. And so we were waiting for Act to possibly do this interaction from the desktop. They have it on the web version, but they didn't have it on the desktop. And so I kind of held back on kind of promoting this to my clients in the simple fact that it was cumbersome to use. We've solved that. We came up with a way to use the interactive quotes with the desktop, so you don't have to change anything. You can continue to work in your desktop version. If it's on your server or wherever it's at, you can use that. Now, one of the caveats to using Act Advantage is that you have to have your master database in the Act cloud server, either on the US cloud server or the Canadian cloud server, in order to take advantage of this. Now, we're going to do a separate video on how to set up the Act Advantage with your desktop version and how that can all work. We'll do that a little bit separately. But in this case, we're going to assume you have this set up, and we're going to show you how to take advantage of that. And if you want to use the quotes and don't have Act Advantage fully set up, you've got Act Advantage, but you don't have it configured with your master database in their cloud server, we can have a discussion around that, or you can watch the video that'll coming out in the next week or so. So let's dive in. Let's show you. Now, let's talk about quotes just for a second before we dive in. One of the biggest challenges of doing quotes is you're either going to do it on an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. If you're lucky to have maybe a back-end software that allows you to have a quoting system in there, you can do that. Some people do it in QuickBooks. But they don't interact with Act properly. And so this one, we've looked at a lot of different quoting softwares. This one we navigated to because it was easy to use. It's as complex as you want it to be or as light as you want it to be. So you can configure this as detailed or as light as you want, which is, in my case, really flexible. You need that flexibility to be able to do that. So this is not a deep dive into this, but it's going to be an overview of showing you how this works. And then we can do a deep dive one-on-one if you need to go into more detail. All right, so let's move to the other screen. All right, so here's my desktop version. We're using the sales rep demo database here. And so we're going to use this as our platform to go on, but I want to show you the web version first so that you can actually see where this navigates from. Now, this is a remote database. You can see up here, sales rep Gary remote. So this is a remote. My master database is in the Act Canadian cloud server. For those of you who are on the US, it would be, it automatically will go to the US server depending upon your address. All right, so let's just swipe over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to launch into this, put in my credentials, and I'm going to choose the sales rep demo, launch. And there's nothing wrong with using the web version for all of this. However, there are some limitations, especially if you're using the sales rep. We have the sales rep in here, but it's a lot lighter. So if you really need some really detailed stuff, the desktop version, in my opinion, gives me more productivity gains than the web version. However, I do use both depending upon what I'm trying to accomplish and do. So here we are in the web version. We have this little piece on the navigation bar called additional features. So when you click on the additional features, you get part of your package. You're going to get, you may not have some of this stuff in, but depending upon what level of platform you have. But if you've got the basic Act Advantage, not the Pro or the Ultimate, if you've got the basic, you're going to get most of this stuff. You're going to get online scheduling. You're going to get interactive quotes. You're going to get online surveys, web forms. You're not going to get the project management or the online portal. And depending upon which one you're in, I think it's the Pro. You get the web chat as well, website chat. But you're gonna get a lot of this stuff that's in here. The main one we're focusing on right now is interactive quotes. So to go into interactive quotes, you just click on this. And this is a great place to set everything up is the web version. Once you've got it set up, just log in and set everything up. You can do it on the desktop version, but I find it maybe just a tad slower in moving when you're setting up. That's the only part where it's a little bit cumbersome, but the rest of it works really great. So I'm just going to give you an overview, and we're going to flip into the desktop version and show you there as well. So in a kind of an overview, there's several settings in here. Now, each template can have different looks and feels, so you can customize your layout to be whatever you want. Now, I'm just going to touch on that. I'll come back, but I want to show you how to create these quotes right from the desktop version in just a sec. So first of all, just to kind of give you a quick overview, we have a settings feature. This is where all of the adjustments are for the main quoting system. So up here is your layouts. You can have different layouts, and in the layouts allows you to set up how it's going to look and feel. In the layouts, you have this style where you can choose the different colors. You can change the language of certain fields. And then you can choose different type of layout formats. They have these particular 4 that comes with this. Apparently, you could pull in a one that you do up, but you're going to have to know some coding in order to do that. So I just usually go with the default or use one of these modern ones, the service one or the service modern. I typically roll this one and then modify it. And then so you can go in and modify it, get it all spruced up the way you want it to be. Because this demo database, we're kind of focused on the automotive industry. So just as a vertical market to kind of show you, but it could be anything that you want. You put your logo in and different text and stuff like that. So we're not going to spend a lot of time in there, but that's the layouts. And then you've got a process review process. If people are doing quotes, you have all of your, if you're in Canada, you can put all your provinces. If you're dealing with different provinces, or if it's just one, you can put in your tax codes, your dollar currencies. Review process, your personal setup. You've got follow-ups. So these would be emails that go out after it's gone out. Again, we've just talked about the layouts. You can create a cover page. I don't have one here. Emails, pick lists, act field mapping. So how you map fields based on certain quotes and stuff into the opportunity. So a ton of different things that you can do in the setup. And then in the quoting part of it, you've got an activity dashboard that shows the different quotes you've got. You've got a reporting system. The reporting system is really cool. It gives some really good stuff, especially if you've got a sales team. This is really great because you can really drill down and see won-loss ratios, all sorts of different things. You can do it by all of your sales reps, by certain ones. It's just really cool. You can look at comparisons. You can look at margins. It's got a lot of really cool reporting components. Outbox, these are things that have been sent. I don't have any here. Templates, I'm going to show you how to set up a template. So you have layouts and templates. So in the in the setup feature, you have layouts. These are the kind of the structure for the quote that you're going to do. And then you have templates that could have certain products already lined up and certain components the way you want to have them. And that's where you would go into and create templates. And then you have products. So you can list all of your products in here. I just really quickly threw a few in here based on the automotive industry. But you can actually import your products, and you can just have an Excel file, dump it from wherever all your products. You could even pull it out of, if you wanted, out of QuickBooks or Simply Accounting, whatever accounting system. You should have an export feature that can have all of the products if you're capturing them in there, and then just upload them in here, and you can get them all set up, and you're ready to rock and roll with all your products. And then you can put in images and documents and stuff like that that you want to add to it. Documents that you can attach when you're sending it out, like maybe a form for credit card form, or an agreement, service agreement, that sort of stuff. And so this is pretty much the quick layout here. I've got a couple of quotes in here we're going to show you. I'm going to flip over to the desktop version for now. So I'm just going to log out of here, and we're going to go back over to the desktop. Now, one of the things you just remember, we had this additional features. So Matt, the wizard, set up the same look and feel. So we have this interactive component here. There's our interactive quotes. We click into it. It's just a little bit, when it loads up, it's just a tad slower than doing it from the web version, but you get in. And so you can see the same quoting system. I still have access to all my setup features. And then you have your quotes. So let me show you what a quote looks like, and then we're going to create some quotes and just show you how that works. And before I go any further, just a reminder: if you've got any questions or anything like that, I don't have anybody on with me today. Jared's not in today. So I'm just going to keep an eye on any comments or questions that come up. And at this point, I don't see any questions or comments. But if you have any questions, put them in the comment area or the questions area, and just go ahead and ask your questions, and I'd be happy to answer your questions at the end. And if you have anything that you want to talk about offline, you can always reach out to me, and we can have a conversation. All right, so let's look at the quotes. So I've got 3 quotes set up here. And just so you see, I've got these action items, so we're going to check them all off. You can batch edit, send quotes, disable, delete. We'll unselect those. And then we have view the quote, send the quote, edit the quote, and then we have some additional features where we can copy the link, copy the short link, download the quote, schedule follow-up. That just puts an activity in act. Accept the quote, disable the quote, and delete the quote. So you've got lots of different things. These will show you some that have run out of time. They'll kind of give you a little indicated status. These are opens right now. And then it gives some further information over on the right-hand side. So let's pick Todd here as our first one here. So I'm just going to go into the edit feature just so you can see what's in here. Now I'm just going to press preview just so you can see what this looks like. So let me just make this a little bigger. So this is a basic quote. I took maybe a half an hour to kind of format this, but you can spend more time. You can have a picture of yourself, who the salesperson is. There's a lot of different things. You can have a little header up at the beginning. You can have a cover page that goes with this. You can add documents to it. You can even set a link to book an appointment with you if you want. So there's a lot of little things that you can do with this. So it pulls in the, who it's billed to, the quote, the date, when the quote is valid, the currency we're working with, who the salesperson is. I've got listed in here what the vehicle is. I've got in here options so that I can choose, if they want to have these Bridgestone all-terrain tires, you can add that in there and say, oh, well, I need 4 of those. And then you're good to go, and it'll give you the price. And it's got terms and conditions in here. You can even put a link to a credit card. We've got that in ours. And then when you send this out, this is what they're going to see. They're going to get to review the quote. If they accept the quote, they can go and put the name, email address. They don't have to put the PO or the comments in there, and then accept the quote. What it does is that sends the quote acceptance from the client back to you, and then you can process this. You can even turn on the payments. I don't have any payments turned on in here, but you can also turn on a payment thing where they can accept it and then pay, and then it will process the payment, and then you guys can process whatever the quote was about, whether it was a product or a service or what have you. You can do that as well. So that's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. You can print and download that. And I'm just going to close this off. But let's go in to create a new quote. So let's talk about how most people do quotes. Now, some people they will just get like if it's an internal salesperson, they may just get they need to create a quote right away. This is great because you can just create a brand new quote right from here. You can do create a quote from a template. You do the person's name, and then you have to link the person. I'll do that one second. But most sales organizations will have some stages that they go through when they're doing their quotes. And so they'll have initial contact, let's say for one, and they haven't got down to the quoting part because maybe they need to do an assessment. They need to evaluate what is it they need, what is the configuration of the product or service they're going to provide. And so now they've got to be able to work with that as well. And so there's certain stages. So they may create the quote once they've qualified the sales opportunity and create the quote, but there's no quote software yet, or create the opportunity. Let me get my terminology right here. So they're going to create an opportunity. They're not going to create the quote yet. So in here, if I go to opportunities, I've got a list of opportunities already in the stage. So I've got preparation, I've got initial contact. So I've got these at certain stages, but there's none at the quote stage yet. Actually, I've got a couple on the quote stage. I just haven't adjusted them. But let's say I've already got a quote. So I don't want to create a new opportunity, or I've got some opportunities. I'm getting my words mixed up, folks. I'm sorry about that. I want to create an opportunity, and then I want to attach a quote to that opportunity as opposed to going straight to doing a quote. So you have two options. I'm going to create a quote. I'm an inside salesperson. I'm going to create a quote right away. And I probably would do an opportunity and a quote, or have the quote create the opportunity. In this case, I'm doing the traditional sales funnel. I've got an opportunity that's already created. Now I want to create a quote to that. And so I'm going to go back into my additional features, into interactive quotes, and I'm going to go new. So when I go new, I've got two choices: create from scratch, use existing opportunity. This will list the opportunities that you already have, or I can create one from the template. This would be like an inside salesperson would use one from an existing template probably, or from scratch if they were going to build this right from scratch. So we're going to use, first of all, the existing opportunity. So I'm going to take let's see, I'm going to take this one from Lori Argyle. So it's a new truck. I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to create the quote. And so now it's asking me to create a quote name. So I'm going to create a quote, the opportunity, and it's going to link directly to that opportunity. So I'm going to go new quote for, Lori. Did I spell Lori's name right? R-I, there we are. And then I'm going to create quote. So when I create the quote, it's going to pull us up. So automatically, it's got new quote for Lori. It gives me a quote number. It's using the sales layout, because I've got two different ones in here. I've got sales and I got a service layout. So I'm going to leave it on the sales. That's the default one that I've selected. It's going to be automatically, it links to Lori's name. So I don't have to worry about that. It's in Canadian dollars. We're in Alberta, so we're using GST. And I can put a cover page in here if I have one. I can put a preface header. Its status is open. I'm the salesperson. Prepared by, it'll be the same salesperson. Now, this is in March, valid until now. It's got November. This is an older quote. So I'm just going to move this to end of March 31st. And no shipping fees, da-da-da-da-da-da. And now this first part is done. Now I go over to the line items. So because I've created this from an existing quote, there's not going to be line items in here. So I need to add line items. So I can do a number of different things. So first of all, I want to put a header in here. So I'm going to put vehicle as the main header, and then I'm going to add in a product, and I'm going to go over to my products, and I'm going to choose a Ridgeline truck, Honda. And I can have some comments in here. I don't have any comments, but you could have already in when you choose your products, you can put descriptions already in. I just didn't do that, but let's just say it's got a description. I can put one in after the fact if I want, whatever I want. And that could be personalized. And then you can have a URL for the image for the product, so a picture of the truck. I can also have a link that when they click on the truck, it actually takes me to the website and actually shows what the truck looks like and maybe some details on the truck. So these two things, I just didn't have time to throw those in the demo. This is kind of just a quick overview. I can give the guy a discount. I can adjust the price based on discount percentage, or I can adjust it here based on some sort of negotiation or maybe a starting point, and just want to show that, hey, this is worth 42,000, but I'm going to sell it to you for 38,000, which gives him a just about a 10% discount. And then I'm going to save those changes. Oh, maybe I want to put some options in there like I did before with the other one. Before we go and show this, I'm going to put another header in here. But you can see I can do an upcharge. I can do running total. I can do product bundle if I want, header, subheader, text, image, video, attachments, and separator. So there's a lot of different things that you can use to tweak and adjust this. So I'm going to add another header in here, and we're going to call this one options. And in the options, I'm going to add another product, and we're going to go over here to Bridgestone all-terrain tires. Now, in here on the right-hand side, I can make this editable, so the person can choose how many tires they want. And then what we'll do is make this 4. And we can put our costs in here, so we can do, what is your cost versus what you sold it for. It can get some really detailed reports out of that. So now once I've got the Bridgestone tires in there, I'm not going to, I'll give them let's see, I'm going to give them a 5% discount. And I'm going to save that. And then let's just preview this and see what it looks like. So there we go. Now he's got these item things right inside of each one of these. I can adjust those so that it doesn't have all these line items in there like that. That's just a matter of setting up my quote properly. Let's go back into here. And I'm not going to adjust them right now just because of time. But you kind of get the idea. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to choose the one I just did for Lori. I'm going to take the one that I did for Todd Miller here. I'm going to create a template out of this. So I'm going to take this one here, and you'll notice you can actually go to the opportunities and you can adjust stuff in here as well. So you've got line items, opportunities, logs just shows the different interactions with that, and activities the same thing. But I want to take this quote and let's just preview this one. And this one has the line items properly, not kind of messed up a little bit like I had in the one that I did from scratch. That's why templates are kind of nice to have. So what I'm going to do is you have these more items here. Now, I can do a bunch of different things with this particular quote, but what I want to do is save as a quote template. So once I've got it all nailed down, I can actually set up one for each. In the automotive industry, I can set up one for each thing. In our production, I'll have one for products. I'll have one, and always a product is an act, and then I'll have some options for different add-ons and stuff like that, and get it all kind of dressed up. But in this one here, what I can do is I'm just going to take this, I'm going to create a quote. Now I'm going to give it a name. So we're not going to use the name that the quote is actually named. We're going to just call this, I think this is a GMC truck with options. We'll just go options. Save. So now I have a template. So now if I was going to go and do a new quote, let's go back. we've done that. Let's just go back here. This is going to take me back out. There's a few things that they're still working on in the coding system here, and that's a back button to be able to take you back to the original setting. So sometimes you have to pop out. Now I'm going to create a new one from scratch. I'm going to call this um, new quote for Bill, and I'm going to use a template this time. And now it will list all your templates in here. So in this case, I'm just going to take the GMC truck, create the quote. Now, the thing with doing it this way, you have to go and find Bill. So you have to go and find the person. So I'm going to click on here and just type in Bill. And let's do it for Bill Bass. So now it's got linked to Bill Bass. And I'm just going to save that. And I'm going to go over to preview. And now it's already linked to Bill Bass, but I've already got everything set up. So I can expedite by creating templates. I can expedite, filling in all of the line items and stuff that I want. And ours can get complicated because we have the US exchange, so we have to pull that in. We have options. So depending upon how complicated this is, you can have a very complicated one with packages where it's got certain items within that package. And have everything listed in there, and just grab the template and it's filled in. So you have a couple of different options on how you activate a quote based on, like I said, brand new from scratch, with an existing opportunity, or with a template, and then pull all that together. We will be putting in a few more tweaks and adjustments to this. We're speaking with ACT on and helping them with a few little things that we find as we've used it, and as some of our clients have used it. So kind of the long and the short of it is that you can now take a quote and run it in the desktop version. Now, currently, right now, this is with the sales rep. We've got a couple of people that are beta testing this right now, and then we'll have an option for you to have this on your desktop version, no matter what layout you have in the coming future here, probably within the month or month and a half, once we tweak a few things that we need to adjust on that. But now you can access, as you're working in your database and you want to go to additional features, you can do it right from your desktop. You don't have to be in the web. You can click on here, do interactive quotes along with a bunch of other stuff we're going to show in the next couple of months, and show you how to take advantage of this. I'm just going to look and see if there's any questions or comments at this point. Nothing at this point. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, I know it's been a quick overview, and I didn't want to go into a lot of details, but I wanted you to see that this is a very powerful coding software. And I'd be happy to do a one-on-one with you and kind of go into detail. But we will be doing a deep dive in the future, going into each aspect. And I'll just kind of review of what we'll go into details. We'll be going into settings, how to do these configurations, because you have a lot. You've got business process. The big one here is setting up your layouts, getting all the wording right, and any documents that need to have in there, or any terms and conditions. Cover pages, another one we'll work on. So we have a bunch of different things that we'll cover one-on-one with regards to this and do deeper dives. But for now, just know that there's a setting feature, and then you have your quotes that were listed up here, and depending upon which version of the Act Advantage you have. If you have the basic, they're all individual ones. If you get into the professional ones, there's a team environment. And that way you'd be able to see all the other teams' quotes, because they're kind of, you're in a team environment now. But the way it is with the basic, you can just start off, everybody's got their quoting system, and one-on-one, and away you go. It's kind of like Microsoft OneDrive. Everybody has a OneDrive account. It's specific for them, and then you could have SharePoint that kind of shares everything with everyone. So hopefully this has been helpful. I know I was just actually going through this, and I didn't flip my screen, and I apologize for that. I was just talking about the settings here, and we'll go through these in a deeper dive, showing you how to do this, and then go into a deeper dive of all of the settings that you can have with your different templates and that sort of stuff. But you get the idea that you can create templates. It can be as light or as heavy as you want. And hopefully this has been helpful. If there's no other questions, have yourself a great weekend. And we'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. All the best. Take care. Bye for now.